Do you actually stand for something, or do you stand for nothing? Do you stand up for what's right? Do you stand up for good, or do you stand up for what's wrong and for what's bad? And I know a lot of you instantaneously are going to say, what are you talking about? Of course I stand up for something. Well, before you answer that, really have a think about it. Let me share with you some thoughts. What's good, everyone? Just out here getting after it for another morning. You know what it is. And I hope all you guys out there are doing just the same, continuing on this journey to be able to create better individuals to give back to your dogs and your family units. Now, I'm going to ask you all to please bear with me. As you can tell, I'm a little bit congested, but that's all good. I'm still making the conscious decision to get out here and to be able to share with you this message and to be able to continue to create this content for you. So, in saying that, let me ask you a question and let me share with you this thought. Do you actually stand for something, or do you stand for nothing? Do you stand up for what's right? Do you stand up for good, or do you stand up for what's wrong and for what's bad? And I know a lot of you instantaneously are going to say, what are you talking about? Of course I stand up for something. Well, before you answer that, really have a think about it. Let me share with you some thoughts. To be able to stand up for something, that means that you are going to understand a few concepts first and foremost. That you are going to be able to stand up for something regardless if it goes against popular belief. Regardless if it goes against social norms. You're going to understand that just because something is law, or just because something is socially or culturally acceptable, that does not necessarily make it right. You're going to understand that you are going to be misunderstood at times. You are going to understand that regardless of who it upsets, that you will stand up for what is truly right and wrong. No excuses attached. No validation put into the power of the bullshit misunderstandings and the mental gymnastics that people attach to their misguided perceptions. That regardless of all of this, you are going to stand up for what is truly right. You are going to stand up for something of substance, and you are going to attach your character to this. You are going to be able to attach your character to that of true moral virtue. Not like these individuals out there that are fake virtue hunters, that sit there and want to stand up for what is politically correct and for what popular belief may always be. Too worried about offending people, offending the masses. Can't even think for themselves. They're being told what to think. Oh, don't say this, you're going to upset people. Oh my goodness. Don't stand for nothing behaving like that and conducting your thought process in such a way. So let me give you a few examples. It should be common knowledge that if a child is being mistreated, molested, abused, neglected, whatever the case may be, that we should all say and do the things that need to be said and done to be able to set the record straight. It should be common knowledge that if there's an animal being mistreated, abused and neglected, that we should all band together and understand the concept of why it's so important to be able to say and do the things that need to be said and done, regardless of who it upsets. True? If someone's touching up on their partner, laying hands on their spouse, abusing them emotionally, physically, all the rest of it. It should be common knowledge that regardless of who it upsets, that we should say and do the things that need to be said and done to stand up for something, for what is truly right over what is wrong, correct? Now you tell me how many individuals out there that you know, or maybe how many of you actually are out there watching this that are all guilty of turning a blind eye, of pretending like you didn't say anything, pretending like you don't know of anything. Now tell me, do you think that you truly stand for something? Or do you understand that such an individual actually stands for nothing? How can you sit there and say that you stand for something, that you stand up for what's right, that you stand up for what is good, if you make the conscious decision to live behind cowardice, to turn that blind eye, to pretend like you didn't say anything, to pretend like nothing happened? You understand when you make the conscious decision to do so, that you're actually allowing this situation and set of circumstances to prolong. Therefore, you are just as guilty as the individual committing the act, because you chose the way of the bitch, to do nothing, to allow this to continue. You chose to pretend like nothing ever happened. And you have the audacity to sit there and actually think that you have a character of true virtue, of a true sense of morale. How delusional. We need to actually understand a few concepts here as well. This is not word for word, this is just my way of saying it within my own words. But it also says in the Bible that one sin is not greater than the other, that at the end of the day a sin is a sin. Why is that? Because you need to understand that the same excuses that we use, that we put power into to validate why we behave in a certain manner, to validate and to put power into why we choose to turn the other cheek and to pretend like we didn't see anything, to turn that blind eye, are the exact same excuses that they are using to why it's okay for them to behave in a certain way, for why it's okay for them to participate within that bullshit and within those wrongdoings. So to actually become an individual of substance, to actually become an individual that understands this concept, that has the ability to stand up for something over nothing, it means that you hold yourself accountable to this. It means that you have the courage and the strength, where virtue is found, to stand up for what is right, for what is good, and to stand up for something over nothing, regardless of who it offends, of who it upsets, regardless of what social or popular beliefs may be. That even though you know that you are going to be misunderstood, that you still stand up for what is right. There's a big, clear difference within those that stand up for something over those that stand up for nothing. And for those of you out there that sit there and pretend like you stand for something, and you pretend like your character is made up of something within true moral virtue, you're living in a delusion. You're living within a lie. You run away from those responsibilities that you know to be internally true. So ask yourself the question once again, once you understand these concepts. Learn to be able to push yourself through adversity in the way that is actually going to strengthen that conviction in who you are and what it is that you actually stand for. Once you understand this and you can apply this, you're going to be able to continue on and to be able to push through this mission that I'm actually trying to share with you, which is becoming and creating better individuals to be able to give back to our dogs and our family units. For the rest of the video, I'm just going to show you a little bit of ball play and stuff like that with the chucker with my boy Temper. Here, let me put this on pause and I'll go get him for you. There you go, guys. I just had to go get him from down the back. Oh, who's that boy? Who's that boy? I hope you guys enjoyed that video. God bless. Peace.